All right, we're live. Hey everybody, how we doing?
Hey guys.
Hey, morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you are.
Yeah, we're a little bit more distributed for this call. Typically, I'm in Boston, Kate's in Montreal. We're both in Denver today for ETH Denver. So
How's it going there?
it's good.
This is the biggest conference that they've ever had. I think there's about 15,000 people coming through, so it's exciting to see like the scope of how much the community's grown over the past few years.
Awesome.
Yeah, split over a bunch of different venues. Fortunately, now the weather's a little better. We got a huge dump of snow as soon as I showed up. So I was like, great. But it's turned out pretty good. All right, so this is our monthly community call. I think we've done 2 or 3 of these now, so we're starting to get in a pretty good rhythm. We've got a ton of updates since our last call in January to make everyone aware of. So I think this will be a pretty info-packed session today. Just quickly, just so everyone knows who's kind of talking. Do we all want to give some quick intros?
Sounds good.
Don't all jump at once. I'll kick us off. So I'm Eli, marketing lead. Kate, I'll pass it over to you.
Yeah, so I'm Kate. I'm the community lead. If you're in the Discord and the Telegram, you've probably seen me in the chat. So yeah.
My name's Galen. I'm the content lead. Just joined yesterday.
Woo!
Awesome. Welcome. Hey, this is Sergey. I have no idea what I'm doing these days, but a little bit of everything. But yeah, I mean, spend most of my time these days, I think, and kind of getting us to the mainnet and shipping the core network with the team.
Nice. All right, so why don't we get into it? We've got a lot to cover today. We'll call this little section Axelar updates from the core, and we can cover a bunch of different topics. So I think maybe we could start with some funding updates. We had a pretty big announcement this week. Hopefully everyone saw that, but if not, I think Sergey, maybe you can shed a little light on that. Just for that section, I'll just kind of take Kate and Galen off and then add you guys back in for your upcoming sections. So be right back. All right. So Sergey, big announcement this week, Series B, closed, raised, whatever you want to call it. Can you shed a little bit of light on the numbers, any other details of the raise itself?
Yeah, for sure. No, pretty excited about this. So we raised, recently $35 million round. It was a good $1 billion valuation. And the goal there is to use the funds kind of as always, just to continue building and continue scaling, right? I think when we, kind of a year ago, we're just in the early phases. People didn't really know to what level kind of interoperability would be a problem right down the line. I think we always knew it would be a huge problem as we continue to see the ecosystem being more and more multi-chain. And now I think everybody realizes that it is a problem, right? It's a hard technical problem. And so we're going to continue building. We're going to continue supporting more chains, more integrations along the way. Building our application layer protocol, building the teams, and enabling everybody to actually, compose and talk to each other across different ecosystems. So super excited. We had both existing and new backers that joined us in this fundraise. Polychain, Dragonfly, then Rockaway Ventures joined us, Olive Tree Capital, Node Capital, a few other folks as well. So super excited. Thanks to all of the existing supporters and new backers that just joined us.
Nice. And how was this? I mean, you mentioned you referenced earlier it was a bit of a bet. Now it's starting to seem a little bit more like a clear direction the ecosystem is taking. How was raising this round versus previous rounds? How much can you share there? But
Yeah, I mean, I think on the high level, I do think the message and whatever the value proposition we've had, right? It's now a lot clearer to the people, so that definitely helps along the way. That being said, as a team, we've made just enormous progress, right, from where we were, I think, and that's been demonstrated across everything from technology layer. Been able to hit the milestones, ship, started rolling out the mainnet, right? The initial integrations going live, initial applications going live on the network. So I think we've been, very aggressive with our timelines, and we'll continue doing so. So, that always helps, right? If you can actually build what you're saying you're building. So, yeah, I mean, the markets is still good, I think, for funding in general in the crypto space. So
Yeah.
they always kind of come in waves. So you just want to be at the right timing. But I think yeah, I think overall, I think given where we are as an ecosystem, given what we have done with the project, that certainly helps.
Absolutely. I mean, look, just before our last community call, we announced the rollout of the mainnet. Since our last community call, we launched Satellite. It's had heavy usage. We're going to get into some of those stats a little bit later. So there's been a lot going on. So it's pretty exciting. So we'll get into that stuff in a little bit, but I think we want to add Galen back in here, new member of the team. I'm going to hop off and let you guys kind of talk, and he can introduce himself. I think he's got an exciting background and will add a lot to Axelar. So Galen, I'll add you right back in here.
Hey, Galen. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, I guess I'm super excited for you joining us. I think you've been an advisor of the project, right? And we've been kind of chatting for a bit now, but super excited to have you join us full time. So do you want to give everyone a little bit of background to where you come from and kind of what your expertise are?
Yeah. So hi, everybody. It's great to be here. I'm very excited about what Axelar is building. And as Sergey mentioned, I had a chance for a little bit of a, to sort of get to know the project a little bit before joining full time in an operation role. Before this, I was at CoinDesk, where I worked on a variety of projects, worked on building up or rebuilding rather a research team there, and worked on the launch of a CoinDesk Indexes, which is a financial index product in the crypto industry. And let's see, just going back to sort of my personal history in crypto and blockchain, I got interested in the space in 2017. Early on, was brought in by a friend who was noting the lack of credible coverage, specifically of the Ethereum kind of ecosystem. And at that time, of course, that was the ICO boom, or the very beginnings of it. It was actually very strange to be at places like Ethereal Summit and Consensus in spring of 2017 and kind of see people's eyes just sort of begin to pop with I was sitting next to some of the founders of Gnosis while they were watching what was happening in the markets, and just the kind of shock and surprise that people felt that these things that they had been building were suddenly gaining this kind of sudden surge of interest. It was a very exciting place to be. Ultimately, I think I've kind of come to have a broader view of the world of crypto since that time, and it's that journey, I guess, has brought me here to this kind of world of interoperability that we're building in.
Awesome. And I guess from your broader view, right, like how do you think the ecosystem is going to evolve over the next few years, right? And what are some of the exciting, directions or applications that you're most excited about?
Yeah. So, I mean, let me just say, first of all, I remain extremely excited about Bitcoin. I have arguments with people about this all the time. Most of my friends are like, "Oh, Bitcoin, yes, come on," But I'm here for that. I'm here for digital gold. I'm here for kind of the basic and simple guarantees and the kind of I think also the just sort of personal appeal that Bitcoin has, the attraction that it has for people. When you think of what is digital gold, why do we love gold? Well, it's not just because it's maybe a good investment. It's because it has a kind of a elemental pull. And I think Bitcoin has that, but in a more technology and futurist kind of way. So I'm very excited about Bitcoin. But I'm also, I don't think we're here to just do one thing. We're here to experiment and to try new things. And, I feel like definitely coming through the ICO market the way I did gave me a sense of skepticism. Okay, can we really decentralize, rental by owner or, peer-to-peer car rentals? Well, maybe we can. But certainly I feel like there are things we can do with decentralized computing and trust minimized networks that are going to be very exciting. I don't claim to have any vision into like what those things will be, what sort of use case will win. But I do believe that what we're looking at is a fundamental in the next kind of iteration of the internet, and it's very exciting to be at the early stage in that and start to work on what possibilities might come there. And so, just as in the early days of the internet, infrastructure was extremely important. I think this kind of infrastructure layer that we're building at Axelar is going to be a really critical component of whatever exciting new combinations come to be.
Yeah, and I guess kind of going back to the Bitcoin, I'm curious, right? Kind of what are your thoughts of making Bitcoin useful on other blockchains, right, and interoperable with other networks? Kind of what are your thoughts down there? There is certainly kind of a I guess characteristic changes that Bitcoin will go through, right, if it becomes useful, and while at the same time maybe some some risk assumptions that will have to be taken along the way. So kind of curious, what are your thoughts on that?
I think Bitcoin should be useful in other ways. We should be able to use Bitcoin beyond the borders of the Bitcoin network. I don't think, at least for me, speaking personally, I didn't get into this space to be locked into one silo or one way of doing things. That said, I guess if I were going to have to choose one, I probably would would choose that one, being the most proven over time, right? The most decentralized. I think it's important. One of the things that is important for people to recognize is that as we've discussed, you and I, right, Sergey, there are risks in going across chain. There are risks in using any application on Ethereum, and if you're going to use your crypto assets in that way, you need to be aware of those risks. But I think ultimately people need to be able to rely on the guarantees of a blockchain like Bitcoin. So if your goal is to use Bitcoin like people use gold and put it in a vault and save it against a bad time, maybe take it out and look at it once in a while, right? It's exciting. Yeah. That's good. But I think there will be other people who want to use it in more dynamic ways. It is digital gold. It's gold 2.0, if you will, and so we ought to enable we ought to be experimenting with what can the 2.0 use cases be.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I guess going back to Axelar, what are some of the things that you're most excited to work on, right? And what are the first things that you want to build out in terms of kind of content and what we're doing around the project?
Yeah, I think one of the things that's really important for us is technical documentation and making sure that content is such a broad word, right? But certainly encompasses that area, and that's got to be priority number one. Yes, of course, we need to tell our story to the world, make sure people understand what we're building and why it, what the impact might be. But I think what's perhaps even more important than that is once people have taken an interest, have absorbed these ideas, when they come in, they find the documentation that they need to build what they're going to build. That's what's going to make Axelar successful, and it's our responsibility to provide that. So I think that's kind of first task. I think, I think we've come a long way in that direction already, starting with the white paper one of the very first things I looked at when looking at Axelar. So I think, if we can continue in that way of communicating clearly and effectively, and in a way that provides utility, that's going to be a huge advantage. And beyond that, I think, look, there's a lot of people use the word interoperability. I think it means different things to different people. So it's important for Axelar to, describe what we're doing in ways that let people know that this is something unique. One of the things we've begun to talk about, Sergey, you and I, is talking about Axelar as an overlay network, similar to the CDNs of Web 2, the content delivery networks, that is. So that's, I think, an important phrase. It's going to be an important phrase, an important concept for us, and sort of defining those concepts, refining them, and getting them out to the world. That's that's kind of I would say like priority number 2. And I think 2 priorities is enough.
I think two is a good start, and I'm sure you have a pile more. Awesome. Well, super excited, Galen. Thanks for hopping in with us, and thanks for the chatting.
Thanks, Sergey.
All right, that's awesome. We're all pumped, really pumped to have Galen on board. I think he's gonna be a rock star for us. So, Sergey, I think the next topic we have at hand is some updates around satellite. So we launched, we announced the launch and launched satellite just about 3 weeks ago. We've seen a considerable amount of usage on it during those 3 weeks. We've had a lot of product enhancements. The team's been hard at work kind of improving its reliability, improving its user experience over time. I think one of the questions that has come up a little bit here and there is just, addressing maybe some confusion around satellite's relationship to Axelar, right? I wonder if maybe, Sergey, you could break down kind of what satellite is and how it relates to Axelar, the network, just to kind of put a pin in that question.
So, on the high level, satellite is just a kind of cross-chain asset transfer application that we have built on top of the Axelar network, right? It's a sample, use case for interoperability protocols is just very simply being able to move a token from one ecosystem to another, right? And so let me actually maybe share my screen quickly and kind of show folks what it looks like on the high level. Can you see my screen? You may need to promote it. Here we go. Right. So this is the satellite. Keep in mind that this is in beta right now, so we still continue iterating through it and kind of addressing people's feedback. But the high level, you can use it to transfer assets across various ecosystems that will be connecting. A couple of integrations already went live, and kind of many more are planned. You can go from a specific source chain, let's say Terra. You can pick an asset that you want to transfer, pick a destination chain, and then you can kind of execute the transfer and then get your asset in the destination wallet that you want. So, we'll play with it, take a look at what it is. Keep in mind, again, it is in beta and we'll continue improving it. That being said, satellite is just a simple use case of what can be built around the Axelar network, right? And now, if you go to this screen, so this is actually Axelar Scan built by our community and some folks from it. So you can see very detailed analytics around the network. I think, be cautious that some of the numbers, I think, still need to be, updated as well as we continue iterating through this. But on the high level, you can see everything behind the network. So you can see who the validators are, what chains they support, what's their uptime. You can see information about the transfers that have gone through the network, right? So this is a network layer level view where, satellite is only one of the entrances to the network, right? And only one way you can interact with it. But we have other partners that are building, bridging or other applications on top of the Axelar network. Everything is open. You can even spin up a node and run transfers yourself through a command line arguments, right? If you really like, or kind of automate the front end around it. And as you can see here in a live network, what are the things that are happening, right? A link requests are generated that allow you to generate transactions. Confirmation commands are being produced on different chains that we're bridging, like, various signatures are being produced by the validators, and so on and so forth. So, check this out. Very amazing, I think, dashboard built by our community. You can see a lot of interesting statistics. So this is what's happening on the network, and Satellite is just one way of interacting with it, and there'll be many more others.
Yeah, I think that's a key point right there, right? Satellite is the first of many right now. And just to kind of remind people of that URL you were just at, that's axelarscan.io. So if you want to go check out those metrics yourself, that's a great spot to do that. But Satellite, is probably the kind of the driver right now of a lot of that activity on Axelar Scan. But as new applications are developed that leverage the network, that will diversify, and there will be other apps that are kind of driving those cross-chain transfers over time. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we've had a lot of activity on Satellite over the last 3 weeks. Another interesting spot to check out is Map of Zones, which is where you can see the number of IBC transfers across different Cosmos-based chains. Axelar is quickly climbing up the ranks there. I think last Friday we hit the number 5 spot for the 24-hour kind of mark.
And just to correct, across one chain, I think right now on IBC, pretty much the only integration, right, that we enabled is like Terra and Axelar. So all of those transfers you've seen, all of those IBC transfers is from the Terra community users. So I think it's going to climb pretty quickly once we open up more connections.
Right, that's a good point. So yeah, check out Map of Zones as well. I think we're in the number 6 spot now over the 7-day kind of period. So we didn't get to quite keep our 5 spot, but that's okay. As Sergey said, we're going to be adding more chains, and we'll take care of that in no time. So maybe we just could touch a little bit on, since there is so much usage, touch a little bit on some of the kind of the best practices for asking questions and getting support. I think we've put a lot of effort over the last 3 weeks into kind of providing a better support and ticketing type of experience, including enhancements right into the UI itself. So if you go to satellite.axelar.network, you can see that there are menus for support, for FAQ, and both of those have links out to blog posts, to tutorial videos. And I think a lot of the tickets we see, or a reasonable percentage of them, ultimately stem back to, I know the popular phrase is "do your own research," but I'll do it even more of a throwback to my childhood. Read the instructions. Is what my dad constantly said to me. So, I would encourage people, if you're a first-time user of Satellite, definitely check out the support and FAQ links down there in the bottom right. But otherwise, Sergey, maybe we can talk a little bit about the ticketing kind of process in our Discord. Anything you want to touch on there?
Yeah, I guess, I just want to say, thank you, first of all, to the folks that are playing with Satellite, right? Like I said, it is still in beta, and I think all of the feedback that you give us, we are actively looking at, right, and discussing internally and trying to iterate. We have other projects, like I said, that are building, different tools that will help troubleshoot and allow people to actually resolve some of the issues themselves. So let me actually share another screen. Just give me a second. So let me do this. All right, share screen. Okay, can you see this? Okay. So again, if you go to Axelar Scan, there is a new tool that our community has built, and it's crosschained.axelarscan.io. So what this allows you to do is, you can easily connect to MetaMask various Axelar related tokens, right? So as you use in Satellite, you get an Axelar wrapped version of the assets on different chains. And so if you want to just plug them all into your MetaMask, you can come here and do it with one click. So that's super helpful. And I think a lot of people, are asking how to do this. So that will address some of it. B, you can identify, a lot of the cross-chain traffic and where your transfers are by just using the search capability, right? So let me kind of just type an example here. So let's say, let me find some address. So, and you can search them based on various things like, destination address, and so on and so forth. So here's one address that I searched on. This is an Axelar deposit address, and you can see various transactions that have been executed, related to it. So, for instance, there was a transfer, right, like from Terra to Ethereum, and then here you can actually see what is the what is the phase of that transfer, right? The token has been sent, the token gets confirmed, the batch signed, meaning that the request has to be posted on the destination chain, and then gateway sent means that the gateway that is bridging the network actually deployed it, right? So it's a super useful tool where you can identify, research and understand what is the chain of your what is the state of your cross-chain transfers. So it is also in beta. We just kind of opened it up with our community yesterday. So I appreciate any feedback as we're improving this, but I think it'll be pretty good tool. And we're going to be adding other self-troubleshooting tools that will allow people to resolve some of the issues that they're seeing and give them more visibility into the network. So right now, a lot of, if you have other questions, you can open a Discord ticket, right? So Discord has a ticketing system, you can open it. But over the next kind of day or two, we're going to be transitioning to a new ticketing system from Zendesk, which will allow people to, submit a ticket. We have moderators that are on standby kind of 24/7. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer, but we commit to at least answering to your request within 48 hours, right, after you post it. So most of the time it is much quicker than that, but just given everyone's schedule and demand for the application, we'll commit to 48 hours. So yeah, we're going to announce this new ticketed system. Kate's been working on that in the coming few days. And I think it would also help people submit their requests easily. But I think all the other tools and all the other system improvements that we're doing in the back end, is definitely going to be adding to the overall robustness.
Yeah, I think two other items to call out. We're getting on kind of a little bit more of a scheduled product maintenance cycle. So if you're seeing that the application is down, you can always check out AXL_satellite. That's an official Twitter handle from Axelar, and that'll give you kind of the latest if there are any scheduled maintenance periods where the application may not be available. And similarly, we have a new Twitter handle for the network itself. So Discord, Twitter, those are your two best bets if you haven't already kind of checked out the FAQ docs and the tutorial docs. So that's where you should look for support. Okay, so I'm going to switch now over to some of the incentive programs people should be aware of with some of our partners that Satellite actually gives you access to, right? So Satellite enabling cross-chain transfers of UST and Luna from Terra gives you access to incentive programs being run on Avalanche and now Moonbeam. We just announced the launch of Moonbeam support last week. So there are a couple different liquidity incentive programs running right now. There will be more to come. Axelar isn't actually the organization that runs those programs, but again, Satellite can help give you, easier access to moving your UST. over to those networks that are running them. So on Avalanche, two of their leading dexes, Trader Joe and Pangolin, both have incentive programs going on right now. Trader Joe has incentives for liquidity pairs of UST and AvaX. And for that, they're providing rewards in Joe, which is Trader Joe's token, and Luna, as well as another pair for UST and USDC, for which you can receive just Joe tokens for. Meanwhile, Pangolin is providing a triple reward through their so-called super farms, which I think is a great name. And so for those, you can earn AvaX, PNG, and Luna for UST, USDC pairs, as well as UST AvaX pairs. And then on the Moonbeam side, Moonbeam just actually went live with an incentive program through a DEX there called Solar Flare. And the liquidity pair on Solar Flare that you can earn rewards for is UST and Glimmer, Glimmer being Moonbeam's native asset. And I'm sorry, I misspoke there. So the reward is actually in Luna and Flare, which is Solar Flare's token, and that's for the liquidity pair of UST and Glimmer. So Satellite is up there. Incentive programs are running. There will be more to come in the weeks and months coming ahead. So definitely, stay tuned on that. And there's a lot of good stuff coming that Satellite gives you access to, and the network itself gives you access to. So that's it on incentives. Sergey, just back over to you. Any mainnet announcements, any upgrades, enhancements that we should be aware of that are coming soon?
On the network layer, we're also just getting into cadence of doing upgrades every couple of weeks. So there's a planned testnet upgrade next week. So we'll communicate the exact timeline to the validators, I think, by the end of today, but it's planned for early next week. And then subsequently, if that update, goes well and everything as expected, then a week later or so, we're going to do a main network upgrade to enable more asset transfer flows on the network. So, I'm pretty excited about that, and we're going to, continue from there. On that note, I also think, Eli, you have we created a handle, right, to allow people to follow kind of network status upgrades. So maybe we should drop that as well.
Yep, we can add that into the description in the video.
Awesome. That's it. Yeah, I
Okay.
think that's the high level.
Perfect. All right. Well, thanks, Sergey. I'm going to actually pop Kate on here, and we can talk about some community initiatives, and I'll pull you off the stream here, Sergey. Just one sec. All right. Hey, Kate.
Hey, guys. Hey, Eli.
All right. So what do we got going on with community initiatives? I think there's a lot to share, right?
Yeah, so there's definitely a lot that's been going on. So the Quantum Community Program. So the first phase, which was an open call for submissions, went kind of much better than we could have expected. We expected around 3,000 to maybe 5,000 applications. We actually ended up getting just over 13,000 applications. So it was really exciting to see the community, their excitement. The really, really cool things that they were able to build and submit. And these range from, UX, UI flows to graphic design to, to NFTs and a lot more. So we closed the first phase. And then, like I said, I'm in the Discord a lot. I'm always kind of tuned into what people are saying, the feedback. And so based on community feedback, we actually opened up a resubmission form for those who wanted their, original works from phase one reevaluated. We brought on new moderators to get a new set of eyes there. And so we actually opened up a phase 2.0, so a second tier to resubmissions. And we got some questions about, well, did you keep the original number at 300? We did. So we didn't add any more members to phase two. But what we did is that some members just worked, directly with the team. Some were, some members signed different grants to keep building out their submission, and then some signed grants to become moderators. So we kept that 300 number, and we just engaged with some of the submissions that had kind of a longer build out period than the Quantum Community Program. We just engaged them directly with the team. So yeah, as of right now, just to give a little bit of kind of clarity on what's going on in the back end. So we're working through phase 2 in batches. So there's the original batch, and then there's the phase kind of 2.0 batch. And what, you'll see the work that's being built out in these phases on the Axelar Academy as it rolls out. We're kind of gradually iterating through it, adding pages, adding design, adding links to videos as they go live. The work from phase 2 is also going to be, reflected in our growing international community. So if you hop on the website and check out the community page, you'll see all of our international channels. These are, from Telegram to Twitter to Reddit to Facebook. We have a WeChat, for our Chinese community. So it's also reflected there. And yeah, you'll also see some of the really great submissions and designs across our socials. So, as I mentioned, the kind of overarching purpose of this Quantum Community Program was to build out the Academy, right? The Axelar Academy, which is a community-run knowledge base for resources pertaining to Axelar. So even though we got, some really, really great submissions, some just didn't fit in this, with the scope of the program. So it wasn't that, the submission itself wasn't good. We were really blown away by the quality of the submissions we got. It's just that, for this program, it didn't quite fit in. But, like I said, that figure, right, that 13,000 figure of applications that we got, it really highlighted the need, for us from a community side to run more open-ended programs and opportunities for people to get involved. Since, like I said, people, did things like create playlists and recorded songs. And so, moving forward, we hear you guys, and we do know that there is a need to, like I said, kind of create more open-ended community programs and open up ways kind of with less overhead and less barrier for people to get involved and contribute to Axelar in a non-technical and also, in a technical way. So yeah, so like I said, the Quantum Community Program, it was a non-technical call for submissions. And there also are a lot of technical, ways to get involved with the network. We have an ecosystem developer form that we can drop in the chat for anyone who wants to start building out applications. We're also, going to be involved in more hackathons and more online events so that people can kind of really get involved with Axelar and start building out that way as well. And something else that I wanted to address quickly is we're getting a lot of messages about people who want to come on as moderators, which is really exciting. As we grow, we kind of really rely on our international team of moderators to help, build out our channels. And I see a lot of you guys on the stream today, so that's really cool. But so for moderators, kind of our approach is that we hire from within the community, right? So if you're interested in getting involved in a moderator, join whichever, be it the general community, a specific regional community, and just start getting involved, right? Start sending messages, start asking questions, start helping, people troubleshoot through questions if because we really want to make sure that community members get priority. The folks that are really excited about Axelar, those are the people that we're interested in engaging and working with to build out our regional communities. So yeah, all that to say, if you're interested in becoming a moderator, my suggestion is just, hop in the channels, get involved, start messaging, sending messages, asking questions, and yeah, we can go from there.
I think I'd just love to jump in on a related topic, right? The moderator interest is fantastic. We're also hiring. So we've actually made hires from the community. People who have submitted projects are, have joined the team full time as, on the engineering and product side. We're hiring developer relations, business development, marketing, community, engineering. So pretty much every function across the company we're hiring for right now. Definitely check out our careers page. We'd love to hear from you and see if there's a way we can work together.
Yeah, exactly. And like I said, we have engaged people directly through the community program as well. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities to get involved. So yeah, check out the careers page and just, hop in the channels and get involved that way as well. So the next thing that I will move on to is people have been asking us about flash challenges. So our Twitter flash challenges, we announce them on our Twitter, and they run for a week. And we ask that you use the hashtag Axelar Quantum Community Flash Challenge. I know it's a long hashtag, but it's also a way for us to kind of amalgamate all the submissions and be able to go through them. So we're going to actually tweet this out later today, but for everyone on the stream now, we are running a flash challenge starting today called Show Us Your Bufficorns. And, you know, that probably makes absolutely no sense out of context, but the team is actually at ETH Denver. We've been here for about a week. Eli joined a few days ago. ETH Denver is one of the largest community conferences that the Ethereum community runs, and the Bufficorn is their logo. So we're kind of creating an open call for people to submit whatever you want. Bufficorns edited with the Axelar logo, you know, scenes with the Bufficorn and Axelar robots, anything you can think of. Kind of tweet that out. Make sure to tag Axelar Core and use the hashtag. And again, we're going to have a tweet addressing all this with the hashtag that you can copy and paste. And yeah, so that's going to run for a week, and we'll announce the winners on Twitter. But yeah, so we're looking for Axelar ETH Denver Bufficorn designs, and the best one will receive a Flash Challenge NFT and also be featured across our socials. But yeah, so we are at ETH Denver. So if anyone from the community is here, come find either myself or Eli. We have some pretty cool swag to give out. So not sure if you guys, let's see. These are actually 3D printed. Can't really see the back, but there's the Ethereum logo and the Axelar logo. And these were 3D printed by one of our community members. He printed about 300 of these and sent them over to the conference all the way from France, which is really cool. So if you're here in person, come find myself or Eli. We'll give you a keychain. We also have a bunch of stickers that we printed, and those were also community designs from the Quantum program. So we have a ton of stickers to give out as well. And if you're in Denver and you want even more swag, we have ETH Denver POAPs. So come and find the team for those. And I saw some questions in the chat about POAPs. So again, we don't have a POAP for this call, but we hear you guys. That's really great feedback. So we're going to start issuing POAPs for community calls moving forward. So starting next month. So yeah, we'll be issuing those for anyone who hops on the call. And POAPs, for anyone who is wondering, they're proof of attendance protocol. So they're kind of NFTs that signify that you were at an event or tuned into, you know, a stream or something like, you know, our community calls. And yeah, so that's kind of the quick community update. And
cool. Couple upcoming events that we're going to be at. Kate already mentioned the ETH Denver. We're here right now, but in the coming months, we're going to be at the Avalanche Summit in Barcelona. So that's March 22nd through the 27th. We'll have some speaking opportunities there where we're going to be presenting. We're running a workshop, and we're going to be sponsoring a portion of the hackathon. And then in April 12th through the 14th, we're actually going to have a booth at the Paris Blockchain Week. So we'll have members of the team there. We'll have a booth. We'll be speaking. We may host a side event of our own. So stay tuned for those. But if you're interested in attending an event and you're based in Europe, definitely put those on your calendar. So we'll have more information coming on those soon. So Kate, any kind of closing thoughts? Actually, I'll add Sergey and Galen back in here because we're coming to the end of our time. Any other kind of final closing thoughts, guys?
Nope, no closing thoughts. I think let's continue building.
Continue building. Okay. Sounds good. Well, let's see. Again, we're hiring. Please do check out our careers page. We've got a whole bunch of open roles. If you don't see something that's a perfect fit for you, there is an email address there as well. So reach out. We'd love to hear from you and start the discussion, see if there's some way to work together. I think it's also important to note, we've had some reports of scams running. So please be vigilant out there. There are no kind of special coin sales or anything taking place. So, just follow our official accounts and use those as your trusted sources right now. Don't rely on kind of third parties pushing anything. So on that note, yeah, this has been a great call. Thanks for all the updates, everybody. And we look forward to kicking this off back in March.
Awesome. Thanks, everyone.
Everyone.
All right.
Thanks for hopping on.
Take care.
Bye.